A lot of the attention in the industry is around the physician. We want to make sure that we're giving just as much attention and putting the energy into the staff, because that's really the heartbeat of the practice. And nobody understands what it's like to be a patient coordinator or run a practice unless you've done it.
Well, hi there. I am Andrew Watkins, and if you're listening to this while juggling 3 patient calls, checking in a couple patients, taking a payment, selling skincare, and trying to catch your doctor in between procedures, you might be working in an aesthetic practice.
And I'm Blake Lucius, and this is Practiceland. This is not your doctor's podcast.
We're here today with Todd Watts. He's CEO and co-founder of PatientFi. So why don't we just start out, Todd? Tell us just a little bit about yourself as CEO and co-founder of PatientFi.
Sure. So I started PatientFi in 2017. My background before this was in financial services, and also would spend a lot of time in the aesthetic space before starting the company. So, we brought, as well as the original team to start the company, people that kind of understood the practice and been in the space from a healthcare perspective, but also knew how to build a differentiate in a product that could actually help the practices be able to see more approvals and be able to grow their practice in a way that was really attractive. We're now in, thousands of practices across the country and primarily focused on aesthetics.
So there's a lot of other options in the aesthetic space. There's a handful of contenders as far as financing options that are available. What led you to want to build another one?
I'd spent some time working with other patient financing companies before starting PatientFi. The one thing I noticed, particularly with those that have been around a long time, there was a lot of technology and work tools to be able to bring the modernization in the rest of our life and the digital technologies to be able to create a process that was way simpler for practice staff. I think a lot of your listeners are practice staff members, and there's constantly this pain points between, like using this technology or something else and the rest of my life is so easy. I come into the office and candidly, sometimes it feels like you're in front of someone at an airport terminal and they're like, what are they doing back there? And so there was a clear opportunity for, look, let's create the ease and convenience that we're used to in the rest of our lives, and being able to, it's not just a credit card that I come in with, it's really a fully digital, easy product to use, using all the latest technologies, and then be able to make it just as easy as possible for the staff. And then with that, we set ourselves up in a way where we could deliver a really attractive offering to patients. We called the business friendly way to pay for a reason. And we've always made sure that we provide a transparent product, and in combination with how the business is built, we've spent a lot of time, money, training, putting together the best support staff and customer practice success team. And it's really easy to use, but if you need some help, you're always going to get a live person right away, and we're going to do what it takes to enable you to make it easier to do your job.
What then led you to think, podcast? Let's do a podcast.
People come and go in this industry, and I've been in aesthetics for a while now. There's so much attention on the physician. And if you ask a lot of our customer service people and our salespeople, if you said, hey, give me the person you talk to the most at the practice, most often than not, it's the coordinator, it's the practice administrator. A lot of the attention in the industry is around the physician. We want to make sure that we're giving just as much attention and putting the energy into the staff, because that's really the heartbeat of the practice. And nobody understands what it's like to be a patient coordinator or run a practice unless you've done it, and in particularly in aesthetics. It creates an opportunity for us to, hey, look, how can we create something where the staff can not only leverage the best practices of each other, and also we can be a resource to help them. And that's why we have an ad board of practice staff. We always ask that question, is this going to make the lives easier? Is it going to help the practice staff, them and the patients? That's the most important constituents.
So what are you guys doing at PatientFi to differentiate yourself in the support and education that you're providing the staff?
So I think a big part of it is making sure, and that's through constant training, even from the day someone starts at PatientFi, no matter what level they are, is it's critical that the employees actually understand. And if they need to go to a practice and hang out down the street, you're going to go do that so you understand what they're really dealing with. A big difference, and you mentioned it, is most of the practices that use PatientFi, they're using PatientFi, if not exclusively, but they're using it a lot. And those are the most successful practices. And why is that versus just, hey, there's another lender? And I think if you asked anybody who's a really productive partner and customer of ours, is we're going to go in and not just say, hey, here's another financing option, put a brochure on. If you're going to do that, we're not doing anything special, not as a partner, as anything. If we want to do something that's really different, It's okay, here we have this really unique tool that it's great. It can compete with the biggest banks in the world and it's a great product for your patients. All of that said and done, if we can't help work together to be able to introduce patient financing and payment plans in a way that is easy, but also I tell people if you walk into a PatientFi practice, usually before the patient even gets to the consultation room, they've probably already been told about PatientFi. Maybe the reason they're in the practice is because our practice staff, our customer support team and sales team worked with the staff to develop custom ads that whether it's set aesthetic treatment for $99 a month, hey guys, take this, put it out on your social media, put it in the display in your office. The reason for that and the why behind it is not, hey, look, let's get as much PatientFi business as we can. It's more importantly, and where you create the win-win is there's so many people that think they can't afford aesthetic surgery, or even if it's surgery, non-invasive procedure, that if staffs can take in that sales cycle, if you will, of from, hey, there's a patient somewhere out there, let's call it a lead, in between when that patient is a lead, all the way to when they're in the consultation room. And that's where we come in to, let's take like the conversation around cost and make sure that everybody who's in the chair, that's not another big decision they need to make. Now your conversion rate will change. Doctor will love you, or whoever, the injector, whoever it is you're working with is going to love you because he's going to say, my gosh, like, my conversion rates are going way up. Well, a big reason for that is if the cost was an issue and they're approved for 15,000, 20, whatever the number is in financing in a digital wallet with PatientFi, you're making these big life-changing clinical decisions. Take off the table something that's, I don't want to call it a distraction. The financial decisions are really important. We don't want to put that on the staff and the doctor. Let PatientFi kind of come in and solve that. People pay over time for products right now that are $50, $75, $100, $150, and these aren't people that can't afford $100 or $150. It's the convenience of, hey, look, I can just add this to my digital wallet and pay over time. Like the world's changing in many ways. Doesn't mean you can go, and we don't, like, hey, we're going to offer this high interest product. It has to be a friendly, fair offering and payment plan to the patients. But people are getting used to, like, the world's changing in the other parts of their life. They want to use and pay for things over time. We have clinics that do millions of dollars a year, and their average ticket is a couple $100. And it's for non-invasive treatments. It could be something as simple as hydrofacial. And the patient goes, hey, look, I'm going to do 3 hydrofacials a year. And each time I come in, I want to add it to my digital wallet and pay over time. If you have 1,000 patients now getting 4 hydrofacials or more injectables and being able to actually have a compliant program for whatever their facial regime is, the practice wins. They're able to upsell. And then, as I mentioned, the patient is going to probably get a better result as well as far as being able to afford the full facial regime that the clinician's recommending. There's more people coming into aesthetics than ever. Our payment plans are exclusive to the practice. If I have a patient comes in and they have a $15,000 digital wallet with PatientFi and they can only come to your practice, being able to have them come back in and pay on a monthly payment, it's a membership. And again, it's super simple. And that's something that we're seeing more of our practices use PatientFi, use our membership component as well to be able to help with that retention, because everybody, there's a little bit of angst in the industry right now because there's a med spa popping up on every corner, and it's like, gosh, I'm going to come in, give this patient this amazing treatment regime, and then they're going to be driving down the street and see Botox for X dollars a unit, take that treatment regime and go down there. You want to create that loop of them coming back.
Loyalty as well, yeah. I'm really impressed by the spectrum of the patient's needs that you're able to serve with a product. Your product is actually really helping them to increase the conversions more so than these other products that they're available, but they're not actually going to do what we need them to do, which is overcome the objection of price.
We can really work with you and your team to change how the conversation that you have with patients so that you can stay current. If you're running the practice, and your coordinators will love you if you give them something that is going to help them close more business, right? It's just everybody's happier. For the staff, my hope is that all of them, it is very much kind of the engine that makes it all work. I hope that through the other guests you have and also even the advice that you give, it can not only remind and appreciate the staff for everything they've done, but also, unfortunately, like, you guys don't get to talk to each other enough. It's like one of the silliest things is like everybody's on these little islands. And everyone's in running an aesthetic practice is really hard. Doctors get to come together 3 times a year and, hey, what are you doing? And what are you doing? And what are you doing? You guys don't really have that outlet and share best practices, and hopefully is kind of a step to be able to get you all to be able to work together, because then everyone's lives gets a lot easier.
Knowledge is power.
That's right.
All information is good information. And I still learn because I've coached practices across the nation now. And I love being able to learn something from one practice that maybe I was not even aware of, and take it to another practice and say, hey, guess what we're doing down the road, across the nation, and really help people and make that connection so that folks in the administrative and sales roles feel supported. And for me, it's empowering people with the knowledge that we have to be able to provide a community where we can share and help support each other. Because to your point, to lots of people we've talked to today, running an aesthetics practice is not for the faint of heart.
It's not easy.
There's so many things going on.
It really isn't.
Yep.
If you look at any other lending company out there in general, it's like, oh, we're
medical and veterinarian and whatever. And what do you love about aesthetics? As a co-founder, you must have that's by design.
I mean, I was from the industry. Believe it or not, medical aesthetics is a attractive, fast-growing segment, and it was very underserved in this category. So I knew the industry really well, and I was kind of looking around the industry in aesthetics, and it's like the main markets for some of the big lenders out there is actually dental, veterinary. Nobody really had said, hey, the aesthetic market is the practice staff. Everybody's underserved with an attention from a customer service and support and sales support. So when we built the whole thing tailored to aesthetics, if I would have been just some person who works for, name the company, Visa, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go into medical aesthetics. Like that's the part that people don't understand, is like being able to make a product that actually fits into the workflows of the practice. And that's where some of the other lenders, if you're going to be everywhere, you can't solve everybody's problems, right? But if you can really constantly evolve and get better and better at serving a specific customer, the aesthetic practice staff, you can start to get really good at it.
Got a wild customer service story or a sticky patient situation? Send us a message or voicemail. If your tale makes it into our She Did What segment, we'll send a thank you gift you'll actually love. Promise, no cheap swag here.
Are you one of us? Subscribe for new episode notifications and more at practicelandpodcast.com. New episodes drop weekly on YouTube and everywhere you can listen to podcasts.